Hello?
It's me, Richard.
It's 1:30 in the morning. What are you doing calling me?
Sorry to do it to you, but we have a mother of a virus ripping through a major company file.
Okay, throw me some numbers. Yeah, that fits.
You're under arrest for being a faggot.
I'll show you who's boss in this gym. I'll show you who's boss in this gym.
Hi.
Yo guys. So we again had a really good discussion about support builds in Smite, you know? Like, we were talking how Tips and Pridewin is not a support meta anymore, and even though the SPL players still buy it every game, they're just been outdated and they just like so much competition, okay? So today I wanna talk about few builds here. Yeah, Ymir is really good. So this is one of them, let's see. So let's talk about support meta today, you know. I have a few builds ready to go here, okay? And first let me talk about this build, okay? Sentinel's Gift is really good for early game because you get so much sustain. You combine Sentinel's Gift with pots and you have a really good sustain. All you do is hit minions and you get a good sustain, you know. You help your carry to clear wave anyway, so it's really good. Now Witchblade has really good stats in early game, okay? And it is one of the best aura in the game, you know. It's especially good because most conquest teams have 3 physical gods, you know. This item is not just good against hunters or 3 physical teams, you know, just like Surginity, but also against gods that animation cancel a lot, like Susano, Uller, or anything like that. Any god that go Hydra, basically, you know. Now Winged Blade, Witchblade are also pretty cost effective items, really cheap items. So if you play support you usually don't have much gold, especially if you have to like buy wards and such, you know. So yeah, these items are really good. Now Valor is a little expensive, but Shogun is really good, you know. So what you could go is Sentinel's Gift, Witchblade, you know, physical protection, and then you immediately go into Shogun Kozari, you know, you can skip Stone of Binding. But you can go Sentinel's Gift, Witchblade, Shogun Kozari, Valor, okay? Now this is your physical protection, magical protection, physical protection, you know? And it's really good auras, you get max cooldown, you get movement speed. This is your really good build, you know? This is probably, if you don't go Stone of Binding, you know, you just go, you know, Sentinel's Gift, Witchblade, Shogun and Valor, you know? Most conquest teams have 3 physical gods, so maybe you should probably buy Valor before Shogun. So let's see, we go Witchblade, and then we go Valor. It's a little more expensive item, but that cooldown and mana and physical protection are very good. And then you just go Shogun, you know. Shogun is the best aura in the game currently, so you have to buy it even on a carry. If your support don't buy it, you know, also Witchblade, you know, you can buy it on carry, you know, it's such a good auras. Especially in Conquest, you know, in Arena, you have 3 magical gods usually. You have double mage, so items like Voidstone tend to be better, you know. But in Conquest, Witchblade and Shogun Kozari are your staple items, you know. Now you can also go like, you know, first items of Virginity or Tips if you want, you know. It's not bad, okay? But you will always have to go Witchblade and Shogun, you know. And you're gonna miss that mana and cooldown, you know. That's why Valor is also a pretty important piece to have, you know. But the beauty, let's see, now you can also go, let's see, Witchblade. You can go this build. Now the beauty of this build is that it's very cheap, very cost effective, and you get both protection. If you combine Stone of Binding and Witchblade, you have 60 physical protection. If you combine Stone of Binding and Winged Blade, you have 60 magical protection. And these items are all very cheap, so you can buy them usually before everybody else, you know, before the enemy support. And Stone of Binding will help you early game, and Witchblade, you know, Stone of Binding and Witchblade are the best early game items you can probably have, probably even better than Virginity against 3 physical gods. Then you get Winged Blade, so you can play a little more aggressively, so even if they catch you off guard, you can always escape, you know, you cannot just slow you down, and that is nothing you can do, you know. Slow is one of the most important crowd control in this game, okay. like this high-res balance lately has been such a joke. Sorry, but it's a joke. Like some items are totally overpowered, like you know, Gladiator Shield, Jade Emperor's Crown, Shogun is overpowered, flat pin items and mage items are overpowered. Just look at this. In Vermouth Deathbringer, this is the typical crit item, and what they did, they add a fucking slow on this item and reduce their damage output. Reduce enemy damage by 15% plus slows them. They put two best stats on the fucking crit item that was already bought, you know. Like, but they cannot give us, you know, a leaderboard for arena, you know. It's like, come on, Hi-Res, please wake up. What the fuck? Jade Emperor's Crown. Enemy gods within have their physical power reduced by 15%. What the fuck did Hi-Res, when did they change this item? I mean, this item is kinda bad against our team, we only have like do physical gods, but you know, god damn it. Sentinel's Gift is really good for early game because you get really good sustain. Stone of Binding gives you really good stats and it's pretty cheap item, so you can buy it pretty quickly, maybe in your first return or second, okay? It gives you power, both protections, and every time you hit your crowd control you reduce enemy protections, which is really good in early game because flat protection reduction is really good in early game. And Witchblade and Stone of Bindings are both very cheap items that gives you very good stats, and Witchblade on top of that gives you, you know, one of the best aura in the game. So Stone of Binding, Witchblade, you know, all these items, also Winged Blade, are really cheap, so you can buy it really quickly. Now Witchblade plus Winged Blade, and you can juke anyone in the game, you know. Witchblade reduces enemy attack speed, which increases enemy basic attack speed animation, and Winged Blade not only gives you movement speed but gives you anti-slow. So even if you are out of position, even if you know, if you play more aggressively, they can still not hit you, you know. Winged Blade is also really good on carries, okay? And then you just go staple items, Valor and Shogun Kozari, you know. Valor physical protection cooldown mana, and Shogun magical protection cooldown, and also probably the best aura in the game, you know. So this is your really good build, okay? You can also skip Stone of Binding and Winged Blade if you want, and just go Sentinel's Gift, Witchblade, Valor into Shogun Kozari, you know. Valor is a little more expensive, but you know, if you combine Witchblade, Valor and Shogun, you have maximum cooldown, you have both protections, and you have two best auras in the game, especially in Conquest, where most Conquest teams have 3 physical gods, you know. But yeah, you know, Stone of Binding is basically better tapes, it's faster, better stats, you know, faster item, you know, you need 10 minutes to stack tapes, but Stone of Binding, you get all the stats immediately when you buy it, so you can just, you know, snowball from that, and it's cheap item, so you can buy it really early. Or you can just rush into Witchblade, you know, Witchblade gives you really good early game stats, so yeah. And then you can go Winged Blade, you know, you can go Sentinel's Gift, Witchblade, Winged Blade, Valor, Shogun. Like that. You can go a build like that, you know, you will have really good movement speed, you can juke, you can, you know, people cannot escape from you. But yeah, you know, it's not like you have any power, so you cannot really help Hunter clear very much, you know, you don't have much pressure, you know, either. It's your juke build, you know, but you have maximum cooldown and you have 2 good auras. So this is actually a really strong build, because Witchblade will affect enemy team and Shogun Kozari will buff your team, so... You can also, instead Winged Blade, you can actually go Shogun immediately after Witchblade, and then you go Valor. Like this build is also probably S tier, you know, because you have sustain in early game, you have good early game stat with Witchblade, and then you just go Shogun, you know, Witchblade, Shogun are 2 best auras in the game, and then just go Valor, so you also have max cooldown and mana and physical protection. So if you play support, this is probably your meta build currently, not fucking tapes and pride win every game. I don't wanna see that bullshit, you know. That's outdated support meta that hasn't been relevant for like 3 seasons now, okay? So let's go, what do you wanna get? Watcher, a Sentinel's Gift. Sentinel's Gift. come on, wait. Bam, 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 bam. Bam, bam. Sentinel's Gift, Witchblade. Then you can go Winged Blade, Valor, Shogun, and then maybe Contagion. Okay, so this is first build, this is second build. So let's see, this you can also go, you know, most conquest teams have 3 physical gods. So items like Virginity are still very good. Then after that you can go good auras and cooldown like Witchblade, Shogun. You still need mana, you know, the problem if you don't go Valor, if you go Virginity you lack mana and cooldown. So you can possibly still go Valor here. And then after that you can go Voidstone maybe if you have double mage or Contagion or whatever, or Winged Blade. Okay. And now the final build is similar to the first one, I mean to the second one, but you go, let's see, bam, you go Stone of Binding, you know, so let's see, Sentinel's Gift, Stone of Binding. Stone of Binding is basically better tapes, you know, it's cheaper, it gives you good stats, and it's flat defense reduction. So every time you crowd control the enemy, you reduce their protections, which buffs your whole team, which is really good in early to mid game. And you just get so much power, just enough power, so that you help your hunter to clear early to mid game. One of the most important thing of conquest is early to mid game, and power spikes, pressure, clear is very important, and that's why tapes haven't been meta for a while, because tapes is too slow of an item. You need 10 minutes to stack it, and even once you do, all you get are protections for yourself. You don't get any cooldown, you don't get any good auras, you cannot help your team to clear faster, you know. So, and then from this point on, there are, you know, 2 paths you can go. You can go Valor, you can go Shogun, okay, and maybe Witchblade, you know. So let's see, Smite Builder, and then another way, let's see, Stone of Binding, and then you go Witchblade, then you go Shogun, then you go Valor, you know. Even though I like to go Valor sooner, because that mana and cooldown is very important mid game, you know. But yeah, if you combine Witchblade, Valor and Shogun Kosari, you have maximum cooldown, you have 2 best auras in the game, and you have both protections. So this is very important. These are like core 3 items for each support, okay? And Stone of Binding is your early game instead of tapes. So this is probably your meta build, okay? Now, I also like to add in Winged Blade, okay? Winged Blade, especially if you play Guardian like Emir, movement speed and anti-slow is very important. And once you combine Winged Blade plus Witchblade, you can juke anyone. People won't be able to keep up with you. And that's why this build is so good, okay? And if you counter slow, you know, you can buy Winged Blade or Sprint Relic, you know. You can juke everybody, especially when you combine Winged Blade and Witchblade, you know. So, and then what you go, you know, you see you have physical, magical, and then you just go Valor and Shogun. So you have those the max cooldown and important auras. Okay, this is your meta build probably. You can also skip Stone of Binding if you really don't want to do it, because, you know, you can actually just go like, you can also skip Witchblade and Winged Blade if you want. You can just go Valor, you can go Witchblade, Valor, Shogun if you want, you know. But Witchblade, Valor and Shogun are probably your core items you wanna have on every support, because your job as a support is to buy cooldown and buy good auras, and Witchblade and Shogun Kosari are best auras in the game. And Ymir is so good, you know, because you have such a good clear, underrated. That's why Ymir is banned almost a lot of SPL games, you know, because his clear is underrated. he's one of the best 1 versus 1 gods, because his clear is so fucking good, you know. In 1 versus 1 you can actually buy items like Bancroft, Demonic Grip or Shogun Kozari or Valor, and you have insane clear, you know. You can go more hybrid damage type build, you know. And mage items are really strong, so you can go Spear of Desa, Rod of Tahuti, and you will own, you know. And Shogun Kozari is really good item against magical opponents, you know. Also, yeah, Runic Shield. If you play Warrior against 3 magical teams, get Runic Shield, you know. Let's see, Runic Shield. Oh well, yeah, it doesn't find him because I'm on a magical god, you know. You need Warrior, you need physical god, you know, and then you go Runic Shield, yeah. This is the best item against 3 magical gods. Now, if you play solo laner, you have a few options, you know. You either go Warrior X into like Berserker Shield or Gladiator Shield. They're all really strong items. And then you just go Shogun. This is a really popular build lately, you know. Berserker Shield, Shogun, Kozari, Warrior X, you know. This is just insane, okay? And yeah, Warrior X is really good for sustain and more damage. And these items are all over buffed, you know, because typical higher is balanced. And then you can go in arena. If you play Warrior, you probably wanna go Warding Sigil, okay? This is your best tanky starter item in the game. So if you play arena, you go Warding Sigil, and then you can go like, it depends, you go physical or magical protection first, but you know, if they have 3 magical gods like double mage, you can go Runic Shield, and then you can go Valor, and then you can go Witchblade against Hunters, or you know, Susanos, you know, and then maybe Winged Blade if you want, or you can go one flat, you know. It's also very important to have one flat penetration item. So on a warrior, that's a golden rule of warriors, always get one flat pin item. So you know, we have cooldown from Valor, you know, then we just get Brawler's Beatstick, otherwise we get Jotuns, you know, for cooldown. So you go Brawler's Beatstick, and then after that you can go Witchblade and Winged Blade, or you can go like Void Shield, you know. You can sell this or upgrade and get Void Shield, you know. Or there is another build. You can go Warding Sigil. Warding Sigil is really important for early tankiness. And then you can go Jotun's Rush, you know. This is flat pin item. Flat penetration is very strong in early to mid game, okay? So this is how you can build. You can go immediately, you know, Warding Sigil for early tankiness, Jotun's Wrath for insane power spike, and then you can immediately go into juke items like Winged Blade or Witchblade. Or you can go typical, you know, Valor, Runic Shield. Now, you probably don't really need Valor in this build because you already have 20% cooldown from Valor, and then you usually also, you know, you need to buy Witchblade and Shogun anyway, which are really good auras that also gives you, you know, cooldown. So you don't need Valor in this build. Instead, you can go Void Shield, but Void Shield is late game item because it's very expensive. Or you go Gladiator Shield or Berserker Shield, you know. So yeah, this is your meta build, you know. This is also probably a really good build in Conquest, you know. You can go this build in Conquest, you know. You can go Warding Sigil or, you know, Warrior X if you want, if you prefer. It's a little more damage, you know. Warrior Jotun's Wrath gives you a perfect early game stats, you know, power, flat penetration, mana and cooldown. All these stats are very important early to mid game. Then you go Berserker Shield for attack speed, or Glad Shield if you want. You can go Runic Shield if they have 3 magicals, otherwise just keep it and just go Shogun first. And then you can go Witchblade or Void Shield, you know. This is your meta build for warriors, you know. You can also, you know, flat pin is really strong early game, but you know, sometimes you don't even need it, you know. Even if it's meta, you can just go Blackthorn Hammer, for example, because it's so overbuffed item, you know. It's like, dude, typical high-res balance, you know. So you can go this, you know. You have really good auras, you have good protections, you have, you know, inside you have really good damage too, because, you know, balance, you know, and so yeah, that's how we do it, you know. It's important, you know, to have power spikes, to have both protections. You cannot buy everything, you know, but try to get them as much as you can, you know. And early game, cost-effective items are good. Stone of Binding. Yes, there is no Stone of Binding on warriors, so we have to go on Ymir. Let's say we get here Stone of Binding. Yeah, you can also go like this, you know. Stone of Binding, Witchblade for physical, you know. This is your early game, Witchblade, Stone of Binding, you know. You have 60 physical protection, you have some magical protection, you have penetration aura, shred aura, you have Witchblade, really one of the strongest aura in the game. You have HP, you have cooldown some, you know, it's movement speed, you know. And then just go Valor, Kusari and Contagion or whatever. But yeah, this is really strong build, and Stone of Binding is the only breach item left in the game. Breach item means, you know, cheap effective item that allows you transition from early to mid game, you know. Also Witchblade is also very cheap item, that's why it's so good in early game as a first item, you know. Not only has the most insane aura in the game, but it's also, you know what is the problem with Witchblade and Shogun Kuzari? Why are they so S tier item, why are they overbuffed? Because not only do they have insanely good aura, but they have really good stats for the, you know, and pretty decent price, you know, pretty cheap price actually, you know. You cannot have one item with decent stats and good aura, you know. It's like, dudes, that's too much, you know. They overbuffed Shogun Kuzari and removed crowd control reduction from it, you know. They buffed Witchblade and removed attack speed from it, you know. Back in the days, Witchblade also had attack speed, you know. That was such an insane item, you know, especially for like warriors or whatever. But now you have, you know, if you want attack speed, you just go Glad Shield, you know. Let's see. You can go, I mean, Berserker Shield, right? Berserker Shield also probably gonna get nerfed, you know. It's like, you get physical protection, you get attack speed, power, you get all the good stats, you know. It's like, but that's probably also the reason why flat pin items haven't been really in the meta lately so much, because other items are so overbuffed, like Berserker Shield, Gladiator Shield, or Blackthorn Hammer, or that item, what is it, another hammer item, Runeforge Hammer. Yeah, this is a really good item for Thor, you know. You just do one, you max your one, so your one will do like 20% bonus damage just because of Runeforge Hammer, you know. And then probably instead of this you probably wanna get Jotuns, so you can do your combo often, you know. And then you can just get good auras there, maybe, you know. And you see, you don't even need Valor in this build, and you have Jotun's, Shogun and Witchblade for max cooldown. You have both protections on almost every item, and you have like really strong auras, you know, so yeah. Okay guys, so let me quickly tell you about... Okay guys, so... Okay guys, so now this is the support build I was talking about, and let me explain why this build might be next meta, okay? So Stone of Binding is really good in early game because, you know, you get really good stats, you get power, both protections, and every time you hit your crowd control you reduce enemy protections, which buffs your whole team, and flat protection reduction is really good in early game. Now you can go Stone of Binding, or you can skip it. You can also, you know, just go... Let's make it Sentinel's Gift, yeah. This, Stone of Binding, Witchblade, Binget, Blade, Valor, and Shogun. Now